Alright, just 3 questions to go. Here's number 13. The nth term of an arithmetic sequence is being given using this particular formula, un equals 63 minus 4n. And part A says to calculate the values of the first 2 terms. So the first 2 terms, that's going to be u1 and u2. u1, it's pretty clear that the subscript of n has become a 1. So we need to replace all of the n's with 1's. So 63 minus 4 gives us an answer of 59. u2 is going to be 63 minus, this time, 4 times 2, which equals 63 minus 8, and that gives us 55. So you can see that our first 2 terms are 59 followed by 55. What's happening to each term if it's an arithmetic sequence? Well, we can see that what we're adding is negative 4. I suppose you could argue that we're subtracting 4 each time, but I think you're better to think about what you're adding, because it turns out that your common difference is going to be negative 4. Alright, it says, which term of the sequence is negative 13? So we have some unknown term, un, which we know that we can rewrite as u1 plus n minus 1d, which based on what we've discovered, we know can be the u1 is 59, and the n minus 1 is being multiplied by d, which is negative 4. And we know that un is going to be negative 13. So we just have to solve for n, because when it says which term, it means like the 7th term or the 10th term. So the nth term, it's looking for the value of n. So which term means basically find n. Alright, let's solve for n here. Then I'll bring my 59 over to the left-hand side. It becomes a negative 59. And on the right-hand side, my negative 4 is distributing to my n and to my negative 1, creating a plus 4. Alright, on my left-hand side, I've got negative 72. Let's bring the positive 4 to the left. It becomes a negative 4. And so on my left, I've now got negative 76. Let's divide both sides of the equation by negative 4. And that gets n alone, and negative 6 divided by negative 4, let's do that here, negative 76 divided by negative 4 gives us an answer of 19. That means then that it will be the 19th term, which is equal to negative 13. Part C says 2 consecutive terms of the sequence have a sum of 34. So let's kind of find an expression for uk and uk plus 1. uk then must be equal to u1 plus k minus 1 times d, or if I substitute, that's going to be 59 plus k minus 1 times negative 4. Meanwhile, I'm going to write this up here, u of k plus 1 is going to equal, by definition, u1 plus, alright, k plus 1 is the subscript, but then I have to subtract 1 from it, times d, or if I substitute, then my u1 59 plus, well look, the plus 1 and the minus 1 cancel. I'm left with just k times negative 4. So at this stage, all I've done is used my arithmetic sequence formula to be able to integrate these subscripts of k plus 1 where I had an n, or in this case a k where I had an n. And then I substituted in my known values of u1 and d. Now we know that the sum of these 2 terms, this one and this one, tells us that the sum of those 2 terms is equal to 34. So let's write out that expression then. 59, so this is uk right now. And now let's add it to uk plus 1. Oops, my k times a negative 4. And this sum, they told us, is equal to 34. Let's do some simplification then. 59, my negative 4 distributes, giving us a negative 4k, and negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. And now we have to add it to 59, and the negative 4 times k is a negative 4k, giving me 34. On the left-hand side, I've got a total of negative 8k, and I've got a total of, let's see, 63 plus 59 is 122. Let's bring that over to the right-hand side. It becomes a negative 122. And 34 minus 122 gives me negative 88. So in order to solve for k, I just need to divide both sides by negative 8, and I'll be done. So k is going to equal negative 88 divided by negative 8. Therefore, k is equal to 11. Number 14. We have a geometric sequence that begins with 8, so we can see that u1 is equal to 8. The common ratio is 1/2, so r is equal to 1/2. It says to find the value of a. Well, we know that to find any term in a geometric sequence, we've just got to multiply the previous term by r. So our a value, which I can see actually is my second term of the geometric sequence, I know is going to be equal to my first term times r. So that's going to be 8 times 1/2, which will equal 4. So therefore a equals 4. Part B, find the value of the 8th term. In a geometric sequence, we know that our 8th term is going to equal my first term times the common ratio to the power of 8 minus 1. And so let's substitute. Our u1 we can see is 8. Our r is 1/2 raised to the power of 7. Let's see what we get when we do 8 times 1/2. I'm going to be careful here because I'm afraid something's going to go wrong. So let's do 8 times 0.5 raised to the power of 7. Gives you an answer of 0.0625, which is already to 3 significant figures. And number 15. Mario spent $40,000 to buy some land. This land increases in value by 5% each year. What is the value of the land after the end of 5 years? Okay, so the beginning of year 0, the land is worth $40,000. By year 1, it's increased its value by 5%. By year 2, it has increased its value by 5% squared. And so forth. By the time I get to year 5, his original $40,000 parcel of land has been growing by 5% for 5 years. So 40,000 times 1.05 to the power of 5. And that's the new value of the land. 51,051.26 if I round to 2 decimal places. Now at the end of 5 years, Mario sells the land. So obviously he got this much money. But he had to pay 1% of tax on the sale. So how much tax did Mario pay? Well, let's see, 1% of this amount is going to equal, let's see what we get. So 1% times the value of the land at the end of the 5 years is 510.51. Again, I've got to round to 2 decimal places. And by the way, I probably should have included units here. Dollars and dollars. So there's part B. And now part C. So he spent the rest of the money on a car. What was the rest of the money? So there was 51,051.26. And then this was what he lost on tax. So let's work this out. 51,051.26 subtract 510.51. 50,540. So that was the cost of the car. How much is the car worth 5 years after Mario buys it? Well, it's losing 2,500 every year. So this we need to subtract 5 times 2,500, because that's how much it's losing each year. So the 50,540.75 is losing 5 times 2,500, that's 12,500, and that gives you a final answer of, 5,500. And the value of the car is now 38,040.75. Okay, that's the end of the review. Good luck studying for the quiz. Bye-bye.